a Ferrari F430 Spyder, and it's a 2007 model, and it's available here at Millstock Cars in Cape Town, South Africa at just 2.5 million rand. And should you be interested in this particular Ferrari, I will leave a link below. The Ferrari F430 was designed based on the Ferrari 360, and it was designed by Frank Stevenson within a 10-minute period based on the old 360 design, and it was introduced in a coupe and in a Spyder. And today we are going to be reviewing this Ferrari F430 Spyder from front to back. The front end design of the Ferrari F430 has been based on the sharp nose F1 Ferrari racing cars of the 1960s, and that is very reminiscent of the design of the front end with these massive portholes that provide cooling to the front brakes left and right. And then of course the front eyes of the F430 are all very reminiscent of the shark nose, as mentioned earlier, of the 1960s, the Ferrari racing car. So let's talk the side profile of the Ferrari F430, and I'll start with the front mag wheels, and these have been coated in a dark grey, almost similar to the body color. And this particular F430 has the carbon ceramic option, and then we have the red Ferrari calipers and a beautiful yellow Ferrari badge in the center. And then of course we have the traditional Scuderia badge on the side of the mudguard of the F430. We have the indicator light, the traditional indicator light, and then we have the very unique F430 side mirrors, beautifully designed, a stunning mirror on the F430. And then as you move back, you have the very unique door openers. There we go, quite a unique design. There we go, very traditional Ferrari, however. And then as we move down, we have the two air intakes. The first one is to provide cooling to the naturally aspirated V8 engine, a beautiful sculpt design at the back. And then we have another sculpt designed air intake below, which helps to cool the rear brakes. And then of course we have the Pininfarina badge, the designer of the car. And then as you move around to the rear of the Spyder, you will note the two traditional taillights on the F430, and these are reminiscent of the Ferrari Enzo. And then as you move down, you have a very large splitter below, which runs through and assists with the aerodynamics under the Ferrari F430. And then you have the quad pipes left and right. And then as you move up, you have the grid for cooling for the engine. And of course you have the prancing horse. You can't do without the prancing horse at the rear of your Ferrari F430. And also to make sure that everybody knows that you're driving a Ferrari. And then when you want to open the engine of your Ferrari F430 Spyder, you go to your driver's door, you open it up, there we go. And as you go down to the door jamb, you will see a little Ferrari with its boot open. You give that a little tug and there it opens. And then you can open up the rear boot of your F430. There you can see the engine, the naturally aspirated 4.3 litre V8 engine. And let's open it up. There we go. There's the engine. As simple as that. Just a tug on that little toggle and the engine opens up quite easily to reveal this beautifully naturally aspirated engine. The 2007 Ferrari F430 Spyder boasts a 4.3 litre naturally aspirated V8 engine, 0 to 100 in just 3.4 seconds, and can match modern Ferrari standards. And it is a mid-engine right behind the two front seats of the Spyder. And of course, as per Ferrari standards, beautifully designed, beautifully clad, and you will note the two red plenums running through to the two rear air cleaners, a beautiful design. And then you will see right at the rear the exhaust system in stainless steel. And then of course you've got your water replenishment tank for the cooling of the engine. Then you have your oil replenishment tank, and that's got a beautiful Ferrari logo on it. And then of course the braking system replenishment tank. And then you can also see the stainless steel monocoque that runs through the entire chassis of the Ferrari. Let's listen to the exhaust note of the Ferrari F430 Spyder. Spectacular. Let's talk the storage space in the cabin of the F430. And in the doors of the Ferrari, they have very large leather pockets which you can store items in it. That's quite deep enough so they don't fall out. And then when you enter the Ferrari, you have a beautifully leather-clad dashboard, and then you have a traditional glove box which has a little button that you push, and there we go, opens very slowly. And inside you also have a quality pen holder in leather. You'd actually need quite a big pen to go in there, but it has a pen holder. There we go. You have to close it manually. There we go. And then we move over to the center console. One thing I cannot understand about the F430 is that the center console never ran all the way through on the transmission tunnel. They could have done that quite easily. But anyway, that's just one of the quirks. And then you have a little storage space next to the driver's controls. And just to remind you that you're driving an F1, they've made sure that they've left a badge there. And then you have your traditional ashtray. There we go. With your cigarette lighter. And then you have your racing badges on top of that. And then you have another little storage space here and another one behind that. And then behind the two seats, you also have some luggage nets or some storage nets behind the driver and the passenger seat. So quite a bit of storage in the cabin. And then we'll also have a look at the front trunk, but that is the extent of the storage in the Ferrari F430's cabin. Let's talk the further storage area in the F430, and let's open the front boot. I just got to open the safety catch. There we go. And in this particular F430, you have a spare tire option, so it takes up a lot of space. But if that wasn't there, you'd have quite a large trunk space for at least 3 or 4 soft cases and maybe 2 hard cases. So quite a big boot. And then within the boot, you have the toolkit clad in leather. You have the Ferrari battery charger still in its original packaging. And then, of course, you also have the Ferrari owner's manual strapped to the left-hand side. And then you have a jack. And that little red toggle over there is to switch off the battery when the car is not operating, so to save the battery charge. So that is the F430's storage space. So as I said, if it wasn't for all of these items in the trunk, you would have sufficient space to at least travel away on a weekend. And then, of course, the very special feature of the Ferrari F430 Spyder is its soft roof. It opens up within seconds. So let's put it up first so you can check that out. Opens and closes within 16 seconds individually. There we go. This particular roof is in black canvas. And then you can appreciate your naturally aspirated 4.3 litre V8 engine as you're driving with your top down. And let's take it down again so you can see that action of the roof. There we go. Stored in the rear, just above the engine. There we go. When you want to drive your Ferrari F430 Spyder, you need to have your key. There we go. You have your Ferrari key, and you need to put it in the ignition. And first of all, turn the ignition. There we go. So you put it on. So the dashboard fires up, and you need to then engage your start button, and you put your foot on the brake, and you start the F430 as she fires into action. And then when you want to move forward, you'll note that she's in neutral. You want to move forward, you have your pedal on the right hand side, you put your foot on the brake, you put it into first gear, you take your foot off the brake, and you can move forward. There we go. And then you have 6 forward gears on the paddles that you can use for the driving experience. And then when you want to put it into neutral, you pull both of your paddles and it puts it into neutral. When you want to reverse your F430, you go to your center console and you have a reverse button. You engage that, and then you will note on the center screen that it's in reverse now. So you can now put your foot on the brake, take your foot off the brake, and then you can reverse your F430. There we go. Okay, so that is the reverse. And then when you want to put it into auto, you don't want to use your paddles, you have the option of putting it into full auto, so you can drive without having to change it manually. So that's how you drive your F430.
So let's check out the steering of the F430, and on the top of the steering you have your hooters left and right, and then below that you have your Maratino switch with all of your drive modes, race mode, etc, etc. And then on the left hand side you have your start button, and then on the column of the steering you have your paddles, right and then left. There we go. And then of course on your gauge cluster you have the traditional Ferrari tachometer in yellow, a beautiful design, and on the right hand side you have your speedometer marked at 360 kilometers an hour, and then on the left hand side you have all of your temperature gauges, various temperature measurements in the engine, and then of course below that you have your fuel gauge and your various warning lights on the other side. And that is a summary of the gauge cluster of the F430.
So let's talk the Ferrari F430's dashboard, covered in hand stitched leather. And as you move forward, you will notice that it has altogether 6 climate vents, 3 in the center, a beautifully round design climate vent with a Ferrari logo in the center. And just to remind you that you're driving an F430, you have a badge right on top, just to make sure that you don't forget that you're driving a Ferrari F430 Spyder. And then as you move down, you will see the very dated Ferrari radio. Most owners change that when they purchase their Ferrari. Below that you have your manual climate controls. Quite simple, nothing complicated, on a silver background. And just to remind you that you have a 60th anniversary Ferrari, you have your badge located on the dashboard.
Just a bit of further info that I thought I would add on the F430. The F430 Spyder is the convertible version of the F430 Coupe. It was unveiled at the 2005 Geneva Motor Show, making it Ferrari's 21st road-going convertible. The car was designed by Pininfarina, as mentioned earlier, with aerodynamic stimulation programs used for Formula One cars. The conversion from a closed top to an open-air convertible is a two-stage folding action. The roof panel automatically folds away inside a space above the engine bay. The interior and performance of the Spyder are identical to that of the Coupe, with an increase in weight and a decrease in top speed of only 5 kilometers. Just a bit of further info on the braking package on the F430 Spyder. This particular Spyder includes the carbon fiber reinforced silicone carbide ceramic composite braking package, a very expensive and special package included. which Ferrari developed in close cooperation with Brembo and Bosch. And Ferrari claims that the ceramic braking system will not fade even over 300 to 306 laps at the test track. So an incredible option on this Ferrari. So there you go. That was the 2007 F430 Spyder, and it's available at Molstock Cars in Cape Town, South Africa at 2.4 million rand. And should you be interested in this Spyder, I will leave a link below. And don't forget, if you liked our video, don't forget to give us the thumbs up, and of course don't forget to subscribe.